Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's April 29th, 2013. To my left is Logan Burgess and I'm Brock Shimbano. Weather was a driving force today in Chicago. Let's turn over to Fire Tip to see how we ended. Corn was up 40 cents, soybeans up 27 3/4, wheat in Chicago up 24, and Kansas City was up 25 1/4 as well. Like I said, Logan, it was a weather-driven market here today. Looks like the near-term outlook for the weather forecast has gotten a lot wetter, a little bit cooler than what was originally anticipated, and that's really what drove the market and got it excited here today, up about 40 cents. If we take a look at the outlook here for the next 24 hours, it looks like it's going to be pretty wet, like I said, across the part of the Midwest, eastern Iowa, into Illinois, and other parts of the Midwest there as well. So that's really what was driving the market here today. But like we found out this afternoon, crop progress is really lagging quite a bit behind.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the market was kind of anticipating a planting window this week. As you said, that shut here over the weekend with revised expectations, and we really needed it given the planting progress that we've seen so far this planting season. As you can see here, 5% of the crop reported planted this afternoon. That's only up 1% here on the week. And as you can see here, the black line is the 10-year average. The last year's pace is the green line here. And as you can see, just looking at the 10-year average, we normally see about 35% of this crop planted at this time. So clearly, we've had a really hard time getting this corn crop into the ground. And you can see some benchmarks here. Looking back at the data, we see that the middle of May, the May 12th report, has a fairly good bearing on final corn acreage. And as you can see here, expectations are going to have to be lowered. We're going to have to see a significant pickup in planting pace to even become 50% planted by middle of May.
You know, given the slow progress that we had and the rally that we had today, do you think there's still more upside potential in the December futures, or do you think we're going to stall out here for a bit?
You know, I think there is still some upside given the action that we saw today. We had a strong showing today. Wouldn't be surprising we saw a little bit of follow through in the overnight, especially in the front months. But just looking at these 13 futures, you know, we look back at the data back to 1980. In 6 of those years, we saw less than 50% of this corn crop planted by the middle of May. And on average, we saw December corn futures of that year appreciate by 4.5% between March 1st and the middle of May. If we look at what we've seen so far this year, relatively unchanged between March 1st and today. So from a historical perspective, it certainly looks like the market so far has not factored in this delayed planting, indicating that there may be some upside, certainly some very strong action that we saw today.
Yeah, I guess if a producer is going to take that information and apply it to their marketing program, you'd probably be looking at leaving the upside open somehow on your marketing. If you have some unpriced bushels, maybe put a put underneath it just to protect the downside a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we always advise people not to buy calls on big up days like today. We certainly saw some appreciation on these 13 corn calls. So maybe let's see if this thing can kind of run its course, see if we have a little bit of a pullback, and then it might be time to get kind of that lottery ticket call on this market. But certainly some very good action in the options today. And from the action that we saw today, it certainly looks like we could see things drift a little bit higher. You know, fundamentally, we did get the export inspections report, Brock. Did that kind of have any bearing on kind of your take on this grain market?
You know, I think weather was the main driving force today. We did get a little bit of information from the USDA with the export inspections report this morning. If we just take a look at the numbers here quick, corn, we came in right within analyst expectations, about 11.5 million bushels exported on corn. Wheat exceeded expectations once again, just over 30 million bushels exported there. And soybeans came in at the high end of expectations at about 8 million bushels exported there. And on the year, if you take a look at this chart, we're going to focus in on wheat in particular. That's really been outstripping the seasonal pace to meet the USDA expectations. On the year, this wheat, you can see the green line is actually the seasonal pace we need to meet the USDA projections. The red bars are what we've been seeing for actual exports leaving the country for wheat. You can see once again we did beat the seasonal pace, and on the year we're still about 21 million bushels ahead of pace, and we gained another 8.8 million this year. You know, just to give you an update on corn, we're about 23 million bushels behind pace there, and soybeans were about 106 million bushels ahead of pace, even though we continue to fall rather quickly on that pace.
Absolutely. If you have any questions about our models here for export inspections, feel free to give us a call here at the office, 877-472-4607. You know, as you said, Brock, though, for the remainder of this week, weather is going to remain the main focus on this market. And certainly the open of the night session tonight is going to be very important to watch. You know, one of the good advantages that we have here at Grain Hedge is we give clients access to the markets even during the night session. So if you want to see the platform that GrainHedge clients use during the night session to place their own trades. You can visit us over at grainhedge.com and take a no-obligation demo there of that trading platform. But in general, Brock, I think that's kind of what we saw here for a Monday. Thanks a lot for joining us on GrainTV, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.